Hey Shooby Doodlers, how are you doing? Well, I've got the new community tab thing on my channel page, which I'm not quite sure how useful it is actually, because it's quite difficult to handle. But I asked what kind of Christmas things I should do, and Artist's Canvas said draw a gingerbread house with gingerbread people running around. So I thought that's what I'd do. So I'm just kind of planning out kind of a gingerbread house. So it's kind of like a tent. The roof is like a tent on the top, which is, so there's a triangle there. But I'm going to draw another little line in there because I want this to have eaves. So the roof is kind of sticking out in front of the box of the house, as it were. So that's going to be something like that. We're going to want a little doorway and a window and something going on up there, and then we want a gingerbread person, don't we? So I'm going to have, now I know this is very pale and I'm drawing this very pale so that I can erase it later. If you press really hard, I've probably told you 1,000 times before, if you press really hard you ingrain the graphite from the pencil into the page, and then you can't erase it because it's kind of stuck in the fibres of the paper, and you'll never sort of remove it. So that's going to be a gingerbread person, and I think I'll have a gingerbread snowman. So this gingerbread person's going to have a hat as well, and the gingerbread snowman is going to be very, very simple with a gingerbread thing. So that's my outline, and I'm just going to kind of go all around the top, and then we're going to kind of wiggle down there, like that's going to be icicles there, and then the icicles will sort of come up around the top of that kind of ridge, and then that'll be blobby kind of there, and that will be the inside. That's going to be the kind of the inside under the rafters, as it were. And then, and then we're going to want to have, let's have candy canes. I just decided we'll have candy canes around on the corner posts like that. Now that's going to get in the way. So I'm going to draw this character now. And I'm going to draw his hat. Like that, because remember this is all being done with icing, isn't it? I went to a school on Monday in Birmingham, which is not that far away from me, and of course all the children were coughing and spluttering like mad. I don't like these eyes at all. They're meant to be currants, aren't they? They're too big. I'm going to give him kind of a red jelly for his face. I don't like that at all. We'll see how it turns out. I think those eyes are just too big. So yeah, all the children were coughing and spluttering. So I kept thinking, oh no, I'm going to catch this off them. And sure enough, so my voice is probably a little bit thick with sort of cold and cough at the moment. Right, I'm going to do that. So that means then I can then put this candy cane stick in there. Like that, and then I'm going to put the snow kind of all around. So now I need to think about the doorway. So I'm going to have an icing piped doorway, and then that will carry on sort of like that. I'm going to think about this. So that would be quite dark in there, I think. So I'll just put a bit of shadow to remind me. And then I think I'm going to have like a little heart kind of thing there as well. And that will be quite dark inside. And then we might want to have, I think let's put sort of candy cane there and a candy cane there as well. And then we want to put what I would call sweets. You might call candy. Let's do the window first. Hang on. So I'm going to put the kind of the window thing up above, and then the window sill. I can't think what the one above is called. Anyway, so that's going to be kind of like that, and then we want to go and do that. that, and then we can put kind of stick what I would call Smarties. Do you call them Smarties? I don't know. Candy, chocolate candy. I don't know. So I'm just going to put these sort of in these spaces like that, just to add a bit of colour and break things up. Now, what we have here is then, so that will be going all the way around like that, and then we can put some little kind of sort of green kind of jellies as kind of little trees like that. And now he should have, oh, I think he's going to have blobs of icing there, and maybe some icing across there like that as well, I think. And then we want to have our snowman, so we'll have this little besom, what do you call it? It's in a brush thing. Like that. And again, he's going to have currants for his eyes, and we can put little currants for his smile and things like that. And then we're going to want to have more snow in the background, and we can probably have more little things, these are kind of little tree-ish things made out of, you know, those kind of green jelly things. Do you get those? I don't know. I can't think what they're called. I wouldn't eat them myself. I don't know. Now this is where it becomes important for you to have drawn very, very lightly, because then you can erase all those pencil lines, making sure first that the ink is absolutely dry. Now I want to put a kind of an icing pattern across the top of the roof here. So I've got my wax Chinagraph pencil here, and you can't see what I'm doing probably. So I'm drawing these lines in white wax, and I'm going to just draw this crisscross pattern across like that. I think that's probably all I need to do there, and then I'm going to put in lots and lots of snow. So also on my community page thing tab, someone called Luth or Luz or Luz, depends, L-U-Z. I think there's various ways of pronouncing that. So could I show you how to draw snow techniques? So this is a snow technique. So you could do this with a wax candle as well if you want, if you haven't. This is a peel off China marker, and you just kind of draw. You have to kind of look sideways on to see where you have drawn. You can kind of see it if you're looking sideways onto the paper. Okay, that will do. And then the magic happens when you just, you know, flick a load of watercolour over the top, and there you have all your snowflakes falling down through the sky. And that makes it really, really easy. And I know some people watch, I know, admit to being a little OCD, and they say, oh, you've gone over the line. Well, I'm afraid I do that a lot, so don't worry about it. It'll all work out in the end. So we'll get the sky in there like that. I use a nice big brush to whoosh that all in. And then I'm also going to use blue just to kind of, you know, put the snow in here as well. So we're going to need a little bit of shadow created by the house itself and by all these things. So I'm just going to put those kind of to one side, and that's just a very kind of rough just a bit of blue, really, just to give some shadow and texture. So it's just a bit of blue to give a bit of shadow and texture to the snow. And then now I'm kind of mixing a bit of ochre and a bit of burnt sienna to get that kind of gingerbread kind of cut. That's probably a bit too red actually. And then now you can see that I could probably have sharpened the lines up a bit, but you can see that makes it really, really easy to just put that kind of roof iced texture in there like that. And now I'm going to make this slightly darker and just kind of go around. Oh, and I've gone over the candy. So I'll have to brighten that up somehow a bit later. And again, we want to come in here. Do this. Actually, I think this should be a little bit darker. So I'm going to, while it's wet, I'm going to drop in a bit of darker underneath the icing, just to kind of give it that sort of shadowness. And then, so each kind of plane of the roof and the two sides of the house that we're seeing should be different shades, or certainly shades, yeah, probably, or tints of that gingerbread colour, because it's not been kind of evenly lit on all sides. Now I'm just drying my brush, and I'm going to kind of remove some of this excess paint there, because it's going to dry too dark otherwise, like that. And then underneath here we want this to be quite a lot darker as well, so I'm going to put that. Oh, that's quite a bit darker, isn't it? There we are. So I'm going to make that a bit darker underneath the eaves. And then also this icing kind of is quite thick, so that's going to be creating this bit of a shadow as well, as will these candy canes. So we can put a bit of shadow in there. And also these little candy sweets Smarties will be creating little shadows too. Just drop them in there like that. And what am I going to do? The windows, I don't know, they probably ought to be gingerbread as well, shouldn't they? I think, because it's just icing on the top. Like that. And then we need the gingerbread man to be a bit made of gingerbread. So again, here we are. We're going to just paint him all gingerbread and leave those bits unpainted. Oops. Oh, I've gone over that. There we are. Never mind. I think there are different ways of painting. You know, I think you can. You know, I'm just kind of fast, and normally I'm. You know, sometimes when I do videos on here, then I sort of take my time and do meticulous kind of paintings. But this is more my natural kind of style, where I just kind of bang it out, really. And some people will see that I've gone over that and get really, really kind of wound up about it. And if they'd done it themselves, they might even, you know, rip the paper up and start all over again. Look, I've gone over there as well. And it's kind of down to your personality, really. And here I'm just dropping some extra tint in there to give this kind of 3D feeling. I'm doing it while it's wet, so it kind of spreads in while I'm doing it. So the thing is that while you are painting, while you are doing the work yourself, you are so closely involved in what you're doing that you see every single mistake, and that's all you kind of remember. You think, oh, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. And honestly, no one else sees it. No one ever knows it's there. And I actually think that quite a lot of my mistakes, like, I don't know, like here, you know, oh, you see, and I've gone over the top there. So now that is a mistake. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of wash that out, dab it down a bit with that. Then we get a bit more blue in there, maybe. So I think quite a lot of the time my mistakes are actually things that are part of my style, because it's kind of like your handwriting, really. I suppose style is kind of like a handwriting. It's your signature, and so if you kind of try to make it too perfect, then it's like it's not doing a signature. It's like sort of typing your name on a Word document and saying that's my signature, because I'm using Times New Roman, and you can. That's all right. If you answer to it in a court of law, that's your signature. But it's not terribly artistic, is it? So quite often it's the imperfections that are the interesting thing that can make up your style. And if you're like me and you got to slightly kind of, get in there and do it and sort of way, then don't worry so much about the imperfections. And here again, I'm just kind of putting more shade in there. I think candy canes want a little bit of kind of, you see now I'm dragging colour in from the dark colour in there. So I'm putting a little bit of sort of cream warmth, at least I'm trying to, and I'll keep dragging that. I should have let it dry first. So I'm just putting that down one side just to kind of warm up the candy canes a bit. And then I think we're going to need to have a little bit of... Oh, that's too dark, I think. So we're going to need a little bit of sort of blue texture on the... Texture is shade, really, isn't it? It's the kind of... It's shade, adding a bit of three-dimensionality to the icing. And put that just down one side there like that. And similarly, we want to do this with the snowman on there. Bits of icing, so we're kind of it's shading and darkening kind of around one edge. Oh, that was going to be a Smartie or something, wasn't it? Oh, and that. And then, we want a gingerbread. We want a gingerbread snowman as well, don't we? Yes, I'll just put him in the background here, like that. And I think he's a bit overcooked, this one. See if I can warm him up a bit. There we are. Add a bit of... But yeah, no, that'll warm him up a little bit, because you don't want him to look burned. I think we're also going to maybe want a bit of sort of shade in there and underneath there. There like that. You can see I'm using one large brush for the whole thing actually here. I know some people will use a whole range of brushes for different effects and everything, and I just, again, I think it's just me. I just pick up the first thing that comes along and use it for the whole thing. And sometimes I might want to do a bit of tiny detail, and I'll go and find a smaller brush or whatever. But I think it's all these oddities that make us who we are and make what we do different from the way other people do it. So some people would do this and they get rulers and they do straight lines and then use sort of 7 different brushes to get the right thicknesses, and they'd be so careful not to go over the lines and do it absolutely perfectly and make it quite photographic almost, and that's great. Which is great, but that's not the way I do it, and I've just always been get in there and do it, get it done. Is it because I get bored? I don't know what it is. I think it's actually, when I think about it, it's probably all down to the movies, and you'd growing up and you'd see like Charlton Heston being Van Gogh or something. Was he Van Gogh? And you'd see this Hollywood portrayal of artists, and they'd be there with their palettes and their floppy hats and stuff, and they're just slap paint onto a onto a canvas, and ta-da, the Mona Lisa. And so I think I kind of always had it in the back of my mind. That's, you've got to do it. You've got to do it quick. It's always like, it's like a performance thing. So, yeah, so I think that's probably it. Performance artist in me, I suppose. And that's why I just kind of do it very, very quickly. And slapdash, some people would say. But then I'd also say that is what is my style. And I know professionally, whenever I've been doing things, and I will show my portfolio to a publisher or something like that, and they go, "Oh, we really like that. Yeah, great. We'd like you to illustrate this book." And they've seen something like this, and this is what they like, and they think, "Oh, they really want that." They say, "We really like that kind of fast style you have." And so I'll go away and start working on the book, and because it's a book, it becomes all precious. So I take my time and I do it perfectly, and I deliver the artwork, and they go, "What is this?" And it's not what they want at all. And so I've learned over the years that, in fact, what people want from me as an illustrator is actually this kind of very fast kind of thing here. Normally, although if I was doing this for a book, then I do quite a lot of preparatory work, which I haven't done for this. I've just kind of thought, it's Friday, I need to do a video. Just got this piece of paper out and started this video. So I haven't really prepared this at all, and I'm making it up as I go along. So normally I would prepare a little bit, and I would do roughs, and like this bit here where the hand is just going over, maybe I would move him slightly so he's more separated. All sorts of little details like that. So you kind of, in your roughs, you can work out all the positioning of everything. That's now going too dark, so it's because I'm talking at the same time. So maybe performance isn't a good thing. I think that needs to be dark there. Yeah, maybe the performance bit takes away from the thing, which is why you'll see so many kind of speed drawing things on YouTube, because people find it very hard to talk and draw at the same time, especially paint. I think because when you're painting, you're making loads and loads of complicated, decisions about colour, tone, texture, all sorts of things. And then doing that, and then trying to find the right words at the same time is not easy. So I'm going to put a little bit of more darkness up there. And I think basically we need I need a little bit more kind of blue in on that. And I think we need a little bit more in there. Oh, there's none in there at all, and that's very wet, so I'm trying not to get caught up with the wet darkness there. I'm just going to add a bit of darker red on the sides of these stripes, just to give us kind of three-dimensionality to them. So it's, by putting a darker red, it's then kind of like shading it, I suppose. A darker sort of spotty green in here, just to make them stand out a bit more. And then we're going to want to do these little candies like that, so that could be there. To make a random, spread the colour out. Like that. I can give him a red nose there, can't we, like that. That's a bit better. And I think you can have a little carrot nose there as well. So what colours do we need? We need a green probably for these candies. Green. I'll put one in there. Oh, I need to keep thinking about that. Right, and next we'll have blue. You have to be careful with blue candies. That's the one that sends children mad. Sometimes I go to school. Oh, goodness me. The school I went to this week, there was one class. They always say when you go to a school, particularly with young children, so these are all 7 and 8-year-olds, I think, and if it's a windy day, you might as well go home. And you may have heard the phrase, they got the wind up them. Well, that's where it comes from. If you go to a primary elementary school on a windy day, oh my goodness, the children just like that. It's like they're bouncing off the ceiling. And but this one class, it wasn't windy. It was just they were a windy class. Teacher told me they'd been like that for the last 2 or 3 years. They just were bouncing the whole time, but we had good fun. So that's the main thing. They're just loud and enthusiastic, I think you could call them. But the enthusiasm is the important thing. So there we are. And I think we need just a little more shade on. Is that too dark? I think that probably is, but it might dry a bit lighter. And so I think we need that to be darker to stand out, I think. Like that. I think it might just need a second coat of blue sky just to make it stand out a bit more as well. Oh, yeah, there we go, gone over the top again. So, there we go, and I'm just going to kind of fade that blue down to the bottom there, like that. And there we go, that's my very, very quick. I don't know how long have I been filming that? I can't see. 30, what? That's half an hour! You see that? I feel like I've been doing it for 5 minutes. And I still feel I could probably do more little things like that, put little, a bit more texture in on these little trees. They're like little fir trees, aren't they, which are just sort of sticking out. And I think I definitely need to put a bit more darkness in there. And I could just keep adding, but I'm not going to. So it's just a little kind of chat and talk about snow and things, and now the sun has come out outside and it's looking lovely and crisp and snowy, but the snow's not really settling. So there we go, how to draw a gingerbread house and gingerbread people and snow techniques and things like that.
Thanks for watching, and you can support this channel and get so much more on my Patreon page. Click to find out more. Make sure you are subscribed to the Shoo Rayner Drawing Channel on YouTube, and in the meantime, keep drawing, practice, and I'll see you next time. You take care now, bye bye.